Hi, welcome on the brand new Intuitiv Aviation News channel on YouTube. My name is Lotfi. I've been an aviation enthusiast since the early 70s, since actually I could crawl, since I could recognize an airplane, and I've been flying since a very young age. During my youth, I spent tens of hours in cockpits during flight. DC-9s, Series 30s, Boeing 737s, 200, 300, 400, and those, DC-8, the Super DC-8, 60 series. And I really enjoyed those moments. I learned a lot, because I would spend easily an hour or even sometimes hour and a half in the cockpit talking with the pilots, learning a lot. And then eventually in the 2000s, early 2000s, I got my own flight as a birthday present with an instructor, of course, in a Cessna. And that was a totally different experience. It was one of the coolest days of my life. And nowadays, since 9/11, I generally do try to get a look in the cockpit after flight, and sometimes even get to sit in the captain's seat. So aviation has been in my blood, thanks to my father as well, by the way, because he taught me the basics during the 70s, like, that is a Boeing 737, that's a Boeing 727, and that's a DC-9. There were not so many different types of airplanes, especially now where I was living. There were mainly Boeing 737s and 727s. And then later on started to grow and we got new types. And then I started teaching my father, because I started digging in deep, first with KLM magazine, and then some other magazines from other airlines, and then some scientific magazines, digging in deeper and deeper and deeper. And of course, when the internet came, wow. But even before the internet, I was airplane spotting, and I spent hundreds of hours at Amsterdam airport, both on the upper deck of the terminal as well as at different runways, at the beginning of them or midway. I even once climbed on the approach lights, so I had a better view, and I had literally the pilots of a Airbus A310 from Martinair doing like this, looking like, what is this guy doing there? And then I knew that I had to get away, because they would send the police for me. But I also did it once while it was bad weather, and there was a 747 taking off, and I was at 100 meters from where he was standing, but despite the cold and the rain, I got dry and warm and very smelly. I have been to many air shows, took plenty of pictures, videos. I had a lot of talks with people on the stands, and I'm not talking about people giving away stickers, but I talk about more the trade fair part, where you actually speak with technicians, engineers, salespeople, and that's really interesting, mainly at the Paris Air Show. And what I would like to do on this channel, it's basically a hobby, is bring the news, not all of it because there's too much, but what I consider to be interesting, and will also depend on what you guys want to hear, and also giving my point of view on things. Because on most channels until now, it's like people give the news and they're afraid to have an opinion. If I see something happening, like for example the MAX, I look at what has been happening and I start connecting some dots that the media are not connecting. And then people may say, but you are anti or pro, or most people owning channels are so afraid they want to be liked. And I'm not doing this for money, I'm not doing this to have an income from it. So I don't care if you don't like the way I'm doing it, go to somebody else. But if you like to get an insight from somebody who considers having an open mind, a broad view on the world, then you're welcome to sit in and have a look and put your feedback as well. Feel free to comment as long as it's respectful to me, to the other people there. And also feel free to ask questions. If there are questions I can answer, I can find the answer to, I'll be happy to include them in the next video. And yeah, actually we'll also create a Patreon page. So if you really like what I'm doing and you want to support me so I can do more or can subscribe to some more professional news channels or get some better footage, yeah, you can support. And I may even make some videos of behind the scenes if people want. For example, if you want to know more about what's behind me, especially those in the corner there, how did I get them? I mean, even this one. I don't know, can you see the logo? How did I get this? It's not so common. And those in the back, the Antonov 124 or the Ilyushin, where are they coming from? How did I even get those? Yeah. Ask, and I'll make a video, and I'll share with you, and I'll zoom in, and you can see all the details. So feel free to comment. Please subscribe, like, share, and looking forward to interacting with you. And one of the videos I'm going to make, I can already announce, is one about the Max and one about this one. And this one I can say already, this was a birthday present from a friend of mine. 2010, 2012, something like that. And it's a special edition. I'm not going to say more. You want to know more? Get to my Patreon and subscribe.